we're going to walk you through a feature from Cohesity called Cloudspin. What Cloudspin will allow us to do is not only protect a virtual machine locally, but also immediately take a copy and put it out in one of the major cloud providers. Today, for this demo, we're going to use Azure, and then we'll show you actually where the VHD even shows up in Azure and walk you through the whole process. But to get started, we have to create a protection job. For that, we go to Protect Virtual Server. We'll call this Cloudspin Demo, and then we pick our source. Since I'm using a local virtual machine, I'll pick my vCenter. I already have a VM created. This is actually a small CentOS VM that I've got sitting here. Now, you can have different policies, and I'm going to create a new policy for this one so you get to walk through all the options. We'll just call this Cloudspin. You set your normal backup policy just like you would for retention as required. You can add in replication or archival just like you can any other time, but then we're going to add Cloudspin here. First thing you do is select your source. We pick the Azure and keep with the defaults of after every run we're going to do it. You do have the option to do a different time frame, and then how long to retain it. Now we have to take some things that are specific to Azure. Creating a resource group, creating a set in your storage account, and you're not creating these here. These are already created on your Azure infrastructure. And then because this is a Linux VM, I want to add some temporary VM resources here. So I'm going to select the resource group again, that storage account that we were talking about the first time, and the container. And then I need to give it a virtual network. So I already have some of this set up. So I'm just going to go ahead and create these and say create. Now that the storage policy is created, I select the storage domain and I tell it to protect it. Now this will kick off instantly. As you notice, it's already running. So it doesn't take real long to do an initial backup of a Linux VM locally. It does, however, need to copy all that data up into Azure for whatever size your VM is. So I'm going to go ahead and cut away here, and we'll come back as soon as that network traffic is done, and we'll see it in Azure in action. As you can tell, the protection job is done. I've got a success on the backup as well as on my Cloudspin status. I click on that, and you'll notice there's an extra couple tabs here outside of just your backup tasks. We actually have this running up into Cloudspin. So it's right here. You see the name of it. But more importantly, let me jump over to the Azure account and show you where this is. If I go to my storage accounts here, I clicked on storage accounts. Now I'll go to my tagged events blob. From here, I'll go into my blobs, and it's under my archive. That's where we said to put it. Here it is. There's your VHD file. Now, since that's available, I can also do things like go ahead and launch that into being a virtual machine. So let's go do that. Now that we show that this Cloudspin task has finished, it's actually copied the data up, I now have the option to go in and launch the instance. What this is going to do is you give it the virtual network, and then the subnet that we want to put it in, as well as what I want to do for compute. Now, when I launch this, it'll actually go right over into Azure and launch that VHD that I showed you already that's sitting right here, Cloudspin Demo, as a virtual machine. So this will be spinning up. It does take a minute to do it, but it's going to go ahead and spin up as a virtual machine in the Azure instance. And once you refresh, there it is creating. And now you'll notice through the power of a little bit of video editing to speed this up, you saw that we now have a running VM out in Azure. That VM is going to be a replica of the one you just backed up from your local environment. And that right there is what Cloudspin can do for you.